Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of our EAFC 24 career mode. We return today with our Juventus side as we look to close out our first season here in Turin, and knowing that the league title looks as if it's all but gone and we'll be heading to Milan. So our attention shifts to the Champions League, where we face Bayern Munich in the semi-finals, looking to reach the Champions League final for back-to-back seasons at different clubs as a manager, which would be a brilliant achievement. So we do kick off today's episode with a trip to Genoa in the league, where a win will cut the gap to 6 points, but that will just leave us with 3 games left to play. So it is looking unlikely that we will catch Milan, but we'll keep putting the pressure on until it's mathematically over. Forza Juventus. So quite a few changes for this game, as you would have seen heading into it, and that's because we have to prioritise the Champions League from here on out. As I say, it looks as if Milan are going to win the league pretty comprehensively now. Oh dear, that's terrible defending. Mecha, good save by Costa. Here's Giuseppe again though. Matthews, who does get the start today. And Prestiani pokes it into the far corner. That's a brilliant finish by the Argentine. And despite making lots of changes today, we do strike first to keep the pressure up on Milan. Thing is, that's annoying. And I know that if we win this, we do cut the gap to 6. But we basically need Milan to lose all of their last 3. And they've only lost twice all season. The annoying thing is, they played Napoli in the last game, as Matthews pokes in for 2, although I think it'll be an own goal. If Napoli had done us a favour in that game, then we could have cut the gap to just 3 points. But as it is, it will be 6, and it looks as if we'll be heading for 3 points here today. But I think Milan are still going to be crowned champions. Well, that should do it, and there is the whistle, and it was a controlled display from Juventus. As soon as we got the 2 goals, we were in cruise control, and we didn't let Genoa have a sniff to get back into things. We do cut the gap to 6 points to Milan at the top of the Serie A, but with just 3 games to play, it's looking very, very unlikely that Milan will slip up. So our attention now turns to the Champions League semi-final. First leg away at the Allianz against Bayern Munich, where we're without Dusan Vlahovic, who is suspended after an accumulation of yellow cards, and Jan Bakayoko, who we've just seen the injury for him is 2 months with a broken metatarsal, so he will miss the remainder of the season. So a couple of changes, but still confident we can get a good result in this first leg. Forza Juventus. So I did just take a quick look at the Bayern Munich squad before heading into this game. And I'll be honest, what are we, seven seasons into this career mode? It's not that strong, to be honest with you. They've got some star players. Jamal Musiala is still here. But other than that, they've not really got anyone that stands out. So I'd actually say, looking at it, we're favourites in this game. So I'm going to be going for it. I think we can win this first leg away in Germany and give ourselves something to take back to Turin. Even with Bakayoko and Dusan missing, I still think we've got enough to go out there and compete and get the job done. That's good football from us. And then given away, and Ferreira's in, and trouble here as Jesus Ferreira runs through, and it's really poor from Juventus trying to get the ball down and play, and we've overplayed, and it's led to Bayern Munich taking the lead. Well, it's been a game of very few chances, just 1 shot each for ourselves and Bayern Munich. But if you're going to gift your opponents clear-cut chances, then you've got to expect them to be punished. And at this stage of the Champions League, when it's always tight and cagey, is the one thing we didn't want to do is give Bayern Munich a lead to hold on to. Now the onus is on us to get back into this. Making a triple substitution here because we've just not really been good enough today. Haven't created anything, And Bayern have been in control after we gifted them that 1-goal advantage. Jude, that's good. Jude. And the captain levels it up. Jude Bellingham gets us back into the tie. And it was always going to be him. Jude Bellingham is him. Now Matthews. And look at the space for Fabiano Parisi out wide. Is there time for one last chance? Nilos on the spin. Finds Parola. And Nilos has gone again. Nilos Kaya, tight angle. And he's absolutely rocketed it in. Nilos Kaya stepping in for Dusan Vlahovic and giving us an advantage to take back to Turin. That is an absolute cracking finish from Nilos. Parola up from the back slides him in. And it is a great finish across Nick Pope to give us the lead here in Germany. Well, there is the whistle in Munich. And despite going a goal down, it is Juventus who fight back to win the first leg. Jude Bellingham scored the equalising goal, and Nilos Kaya at the death with another big goal from our Greek centre-forward. And it's that man whose goal will give us an advantage to take back to Turin. Big game here in the league as we travel to take on Hellas Verona. We actually play before AC Milan, so at least for 24 hours, a win today will close the gap to 3 points. Forza Juventus. So again, I've made changes for this one, but it's a bit of a mix of starters and the backup brigaders. Weston McKennie! What a season this man has had. Leader of the six. And Weston McKennie, wearing the armband, pops up with another big goal in the Serie A. Matthews into Duranville. Breaks on here. Julian looking to get away from Østergaard. And he should have the pace, Julian. Lovely feet. And Harry Matthews, it's 2. And speaking of brilliant seasons with Weston McKennie, Harry Matthews, a brilliant first season in Turin for him. Injury hit, which is a shame because we've not been able to get the best out of him. But since he came back from that 3-month layoff, he has been absolutely superb for us. Another big goal here. Julian. Oh, look at the space for Dusan Vlahovic. Oh, it's brilliant. It's perfect from Dusan. And it's a third for Juventus. The little lofted ball over the top from Julian. Keeper started to come, which made up Dusan's mind. And he just dinks it over the top of the keeper. Brilliant finish from Dusan, and the 3 points are in the bag. Oh, it's through to Ambrosini. And this will seal it. Giuseppe Ambrosini, it's 4. Controlled performance from Juventus, similarly to the first game of the episode. And Giuseppe Ambrosini off the bench will seal it with a 4th. Poor defending from the Hellas Verona man. And Giuseppe was never going to miss from there. 4-0 and game over. So we'll see if AC Milan won, which they did, which keeps the gap at 6. What was the score? 2-0. Pretty comfortable. I don't know if that will have won them the league because I don't know if it comes down to head-to-head or goal difference. Now, we do have a significantly better goal difference of 11. If it does come down to head-to-head, then Milan will have won it after they beat us at the Allianz and we drew at the San Siro. So it's all but done anyway. And a win against Roma in match day 37 will confirm it for Milan, or even a point. So our attention does return back to the Champions League, where we're 90 minutes away from the final. Of course, we know that the Serie A is all but gone. So our sole focus between now and the end of the season is the Champions League and the Coppa Italia. Massive, massive 90 minutes coming up here at the Allianz Stadium. Forza Juventus. So as I said in the first leg, despite it being a Champions League semi-final, I do feel pretty confident that we'll be able to see this through. And I was a little bit nervous when we went a goal down in Germany. But now that we have the aggregate lead, I think one more goal tonight will all but secure us heading through to the final. That's a good ball to Klozek. It's well mopped up at the back. Corner for Juve. Frenkie de Jong will swing it in, looking for Parola. Parisi will get there first and get it back out to de Jong, who turns his man. De Jong across the box, and Klozek somehow puts it over the top. And now Adam Klozek, just as we approach half-time. Jude bursts his way through. Brilliant from Jude Bellingham. And Duzan denied by Nick Pope. Much better move, and you can see my reaction to it. So close to that goal as the corner's into Bellingham. Terrible marking from Bayern Munich. And a minute and a half before the break, it's the captain once again, Jude Bellingham, who heads us into a 2-goal aggregate advantage. And that is a massive, massive goal in the complexion of this tie. Gets in behind his marker, who loses sight of him. And Jude Bellingham, with his second goal over the 2 ties, has maybe just sent us to the Champions League final. Musiala away from Parola. Good ball through to Ferreira. And Romero does well, but it comes back to Ferreira. And he's denied by Costa at the near post. Corner for the Germans. Oh, that's a brilliant ball in. And they've got their goal back. And it's Eder Militao up from the back. And the Brazilian, who had a free run at that, heads Bayern Munich back into the tie. 1 apiece on the night. And 3-2 now on aggregate. Corner goes short. Nicely worked. And Matthews gets an important foot in. And now we look to break. Nilos. And Matthews is in. And on the break, Matthews is away. And Harry Matthews seals it for Juve. Breakaway goal. And Harry Matthews seals it. It's the Nilos and Harry connection once again. And those two just love playing up top together. Matthews races away and has the composure to finish it past Nick Pope into stoppage time here at the Allianz Stadium. And it's going to be Juventus heading to the final. Diomande does well, and Jude clears up to Matthews, and there is the whistle. And it's Juventus heading to the final, and we will face one of our Italian counterparts. It will either be Inter Milan or Napoli who we face in the final. First leg was tied 1 apiece, so we'll find out shortly who it is that we will face. But it's Harry Matthews who wins it on the night and secures the victory on aggregate and sends Juventus to, I believe, their first Champions League final since they lost to Real Madrid in Cardiff all those years ago. So as we get back into the menu, we'll find out who it is we will face, and it's Napoli, who won it on penalties. Both games were drawn 1-1, and it went all the way, went the distance to penalties when Napoli beat Inter Milan. And I'm really looking forward to that. Last year's Serie A champions, they've got a very, very good team still. All of our games against them have been tight, and I'm looking forward to that all-Italian affair in the Champions League final. And of course, we will face them in a double-header. Sort of slipped my mind. We face them in the Coppa Italia final as well, in a dress rehearsal, if you will, of the Champions League final. 2 massive, massive games to come against Napoli in the next episode. But before we get there, it's our final 2 league games to close out the season. Milan just need a point away at the Stadio Olimpico. We need Roma to win to keep our slim title dreams alive. So Milan are likely to wrap up the title today. We need them to lose both of their final 2 games, having only lost twice all season long in the league. So it's not looking very likely, but we will keep the faith that maybe, just maybe, Roma will do us a favour today and take it to the final day. We need to make sure we do our job and get the win today as well. Cristiani stayed down on the edge of the box there from a free kick, which is Not a good sign. We've already lost Bakayoko to injury, and Prestiani's done here as well. That is not a good sign with 2 big finals on the horizon. Luca Prestiani is looking as if he is also going to be done for the remainder of the season. Vincenzo beaten to the ball. Has his man where he wants him. Vincenzo nicks it back. And it's Harry Matthews. Oh, it's found a way in. It's creeped in. And it's a big goal from Harry. Vincenzo did well down in the corner. Awful from the Udinese defender, who gifts it to the Italian. Vincenzo finds Matthews. And it comes off the keeper's forearm. And the defender on the line, well, I'm not really too sure what happens, loses track of where the ball's going, and it nestles in the corner. Big goal just before the break. And yes, I know you want to know what the score is. In Rome, it's currently still 0-0. So enough for Milan at the moment to lift the trophy. I need a Roma goal in the second half. I would like a second goal here, obviously. It's not going to mean a thing if Roma don't win the game at the Stadio Olimpico, but I would still like to see out the season with a couple of wins, and there's still a chance at the moment, so I don't want to throw the game away. And Klojek finds Nilos through the gap, and Nilos Kaya bends it home for 2. Well, that will be enough for us to pick up all 3 points. Now we just need a Roma goal at the Stadio Olimpico. Come on, De Rossi. Final whistle goes here in Turin. But we have no idea what the full-time score was in Rome. Obviously, the crowd not really giving much away, but it is another 3 points here. We're, I think, deadlocked to finish in second place. And if Milan have picked up a point, then it is all over. Nilos Kaya rounded off the win with a second late in the second half. But we will have to see how AC Milan got on. We'll sim through together. Don't normally get to see this. Did Milan get the win or the point? They got a point. So it wasn't enough from AS Roma. And AC Milan are champions of the Serie A. Gutted, but they deserve it. They've been the best team throughout the course of the season. They were run away at the beginning of the season, and yeah, 4 points the gap with 1 to play. It's all over. So we will play out the final game of the season here to close out today's episode. We're away against Fiorentina, Dusan Vlahovic's former team. We do see Prestiani go down with a 2-month injury, so that will see him out until the new year. Dusan Vlahovic looks nailed on to win the Golden Boot, barring a miracle after hitting his 30th of the season. We've got 3 players at the top of the assist charts, and Costa needs 1 more clean sheet to draw level with Mike Maignan at the top of the Golden Glove chart. So still a little bit to play for, quite a few changes. Let's see if we can end the league season with a victory. Forza Juventus. So I'm pretty sure we actually played Fiorentina on the opening day of the season as well, so we've sort of gone full circle here as we now play them on the final day of the season. But yeah, I've made quite a few changes. I'd like to win, but I'd also like to give a couple of the youth players a go, and we've also got the likes of Szczesny on the bench, who I'd like to get on at some point to give him a send-off as he is retiring. So yeah, we've not really got anything to play for. We are locked in second, but I'd still like to win on the final day. Jude finds Matthews. Dusan on the run. Vlahovic! There's our opening goal, and it's Dusan against his former team. I'm not sure that would go down very well, but it's Harry Matthews with another assist into Dusan. And I think that brings Harry Matthews level with Frenkie de Jong at the top of the assist charts. I'd love to get Harry 1 more to take him to the top. Musa into Santos. Dangerous ball. Costa gets something on it, and Jude does well. But then Dedic gives it away. Onyedika's on the floor. It's crossed in and Costa makes another fantastic stop to keep it at 1-0. But there is the whistle. It wasn't a particularly pretty game. But Juventus win by 1-0. And it's Dusan Vlahovic who secures the victory on the final day. It didn't really mean too much in the end, but it's nice to keep the form rolling before our 2 cup finals against Napoli. We finish runners-up in our first season in Turin, but AC Milan, we will be coming for you next season. A win on the final day, but second place for Juventus. So that is where we will leave it for today's video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. AC Milan, as you can see, champions by 4 points. And Napoli and Inter really fell off after all 4 of us were in a title race. It was Bologna who snuck into the final Champions League spot as Inter end up finishing in 5th. But a pretty good season overall for Juventus. We'll be back next season looking to get our hands on that Serie A title, but we've still got lots to play for in the next episode with 2 cup finals against Napoli as we look to pick up the Coppa Italia and the Champions League trophies. It's a massive one in the next episode, and I hope to catch you for it very soon, guys. Peace.